The bus hissed to a stop on the side of the dusty road, and a man stepped down, carrying nothing but a small duffel bag and a heart full of fear. His name was Aiden Cole, a poor single dad who had once dreamed of being everything to his daughter. But life had torn him apart piece by piece: poverty, eviction, sickness, and work that broke his back and kept him far from home. He left when his girl was just 4, desperate to earn enough to keep her fed. He promised he would be back in 6 months. 6 months became 8 years. Every night he carried the guilt like a chain around his neck. Every picture of her he kept in his wallet was worn soft from too many apologies whispered against it. He'd written letters he never mailed, bought birthday gifts he never found the courage to send, and practiced speeches that always ended with tears. But now, after years of sleeping in trucks, working odd jobs, and finally managing to save enough to return, he stood just 2 streets away from the little house where his daughter lived. He didn't know if she hated him, didn't know if she remembered him, didn't know if she would scream, cry, or turn away. His legs felt weak as he approached the gate. The house was smaller than he remembered, a bit more worn, peeling paint on the porch, wind chimes he didn't recognize. His breath trembled as he knocked. Footsteps approached. The door opened, and Aiden froze. Standing in the soft glow of the porch light was a little girl with long black hair falling in soft braids, a faded hoodie, and wide hazel eyes that looked exactly like his late mother. She was tall for her age, skinny, her clothes slightly loose like she had grown faster than anyone expected. But what froze him wasn't her face. It was the wheelchair. His 9-year-old daughter sat in a wheelchair, her legs weak and thin, one foot wrapped in soft braces. She looked up at him with a mixture of confusion and curiosity, completely unaware of the earthquake happening inside her father's chest. For a moment, Aiden couldn't breathe. "Lily," he whispered, voice cracking like dry wood. The girl tilted her head, studying him. "Yes." Aiden felt his throat close. He sank to his knees slowly, afraid if he blinked he would lose her again. "Baby, it's me," he whispered. "It's Daddy." Lily stared at him for a long moment, her eyes scanning his face, the beard he hadn't trimmed properly, the tired lines around his eyes, the shaking in his hands. "I only have one picture of my daddy," she said softly. "Mom kept it in the drawer. You look like him, but Daddy left." Aiden closed his eyes in pain. "I know," he breathed, "and I'm sorry. I'm sorry more than I've ever been sorry for anything in my life. I never wanted to leave you. I never stopped loving you, not for 1 second." Lily's eyes softened, but she didn't move. "Mama said you left because you didn't have money, because life was hard." Aiden nodded slowly. "Life was hard, but leaving you was the hardest thing I ever did. Every single day I wished I could come back." Lily looked down at her hands resting on the wheelchair armrests. "Mama died last year." Aiden's heart shattered. His breath left him, his chest tightening until he collapsed forward, hands covering his face. He shook silently, grief and guilt colliding inside him. "I'm sorry," Lily whispered. "Please don't cry." Aiden wiped his face and forced himself to look at her. Who takes care of you?" "My aunt," Lily replied. "She works 2 jobs, she's nice but she's always tired, and I don't like to bother her." Her hoodie sleeve slipped slightly, revealing a bruise on her arm, not a fresh one but old, yellowing. Aiden's eyes sharpened. "Lily, who did that?" She pulled the sleeve back quickly. "No one, I just fell," but her voice trembled. Aiden's jaw clenched. "Did someone hurt you?" he asked softly, firmly. She shook her head, but her eyes said yes. A woman's voice suddenly yelled from inside. "Lily, who's at the door?" Aiden stood up as a tired-looking woman stepped into the doorway. She froze. "Aiden, no, you didn't, you came back." He nodded. "Where were you taking care of her?" Her face tightened. "I did my best. I work day and night. She has therapy twice a week. You think I have money for that? You think she's easy?" Aiden stepped in front of Lily as he spoke calmly. She's a child, my child. The aunt scoffed. You don't get to walk back into her life like you didn't disappear. Aiden didn't raise his voice. I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere ever again. Lily's breath caught. She looked between them, eyes wide, afraid, hopeful. The aunt crossed her arms. You think you can take her? You think custody is that easy? What job do you have? What house? What money? It's Christmas Eve, Aiden. You don't even have a place to sleep. His stomach twisted. She was right. He had nothing except love. The aunt sighed, tired. I'm leaving for the night shift anyway. Stay if you want, but don't make promises you can't keep. She left, slamming the door behind her. Silence filled the house. Aiden knelt again, in front of Lily. I don't have much, he whispered, but I promise you this, I will never leave you again. I'll work day and night. I'll fix everything I broke. I'll be here in every morning, every night, every pain, every joy, if you let me. Lily's lower lip trembled. Daddy, she whispered. Aiden's heart stopped. Can I hug you? She asked shyly. Aiden choked on a sob and nodded. He wrapped his arms around her gently, carefully, as if she were made of glass. She buried her face in his chest, trembling. You came back, she whispered. You really came back. He held her tighter. That night they talked for hours. Lily told him about school, therapy, loneliness, the nights she cried wishing her dad would come back. Aiden told her stories from when she was a baby, stories no one else would know. When she fell asleep in his arms, he stayed awake, staring at her fragile form, knowing he had to fight the world for her now. The next morning, Aiden carried Lily to the bus station cafeteria. He bought her pancakes with the last $6 in his pocket. She laughed for the first time, a sound like sunlight. A stranger, an older woman sitting nearby, watched them quietly. After a few minutes, she walked over. Forgive me, she said softly to Aiden, but are you Lily's father? Aiden nodded. She smiled warmly. I'm her school counselor, and I've watched that child suffer for years. She needs love, real love. You seem like a man who carries guilt instead of excuses. She placed a card in his hand. There's a program, housing, work, therapy support for single parents. I can help you. If you want to fight for her, I'll fight with you. Aiden's eyes filled. Thank you, he whispered. I'll do anything. Lily looked up from her pancakes. Daddy, will we be okay now? Aiden cupped her face gently. We will, he promised, because I'm never letting you go again. She smiled, a small, fragile smile but real. Years later, people would talk about the single dad who returned with nothing but love and built a new life with his daughter from the ground up. They healed together, grew together, and became the family both had always needed. And every Christmas Eve from then on, Lily would sit beside him under the tree and whisper, You came back for me. And Aiden would answer, I always would.